They will be represented by Shaheed, Roy Hawks, Jensen Hugh, and leading the team captain Daniel Harrianta. Their first match sees them up against Kuwait, represented by Mohammed Karim, Abdullah Alwani, Abdullah Maqdes, and Esad Kabazan. And leading the team for Team Kuwait, team captain Adil Al-Shati. This is, of course, centre court in Hall 2, which features Singapore's matches. In Hall 1, there are also matches going on. In Court 1, Iran take on Syria. In Court 2, Vietnam face up with Sri Lanka. And in Court 3, it's a head-to-head between Qatar and Malaysia. Format of the tournament, round robin, starting off with the first singles, thereafter a 20-minute break before the second singles, and then a 30-minute break before the doubles takes place to conclude the day. Just some basic etiquette to observe during the matches. Please remain silent when the match or player is about to start. To remain in your seats until it's the changeover, or when the players are having a break. There should not be any movement in between plays. There can be noises, especially right now when the players are doing the warm-up. And of course, we will have the first signals coming your way in about 5 minutes. And for the first singles, representing Kuwait will be Abdullah Maqdes. And from Team Singapore, Shaheed.
Hello and a very good morning to you from the OCBC Arena. The Davis Cup is back in Singapore. That is the big news going around in tennis circles as Singapore take on Kuwait on day one of action. I'm Shazad Haq here. Throughout the next 4 days, we've got top international tennis action from Singapore's premier sports arena. Looking forward to that, of course. And the first match sees Shaheed Alam up against Abdullah Maqdes in the first of 3 ties, 2 singles and a doubles match. And these two are just warming up the match about to start in a few minutes' time. Joining me is a former Singapore trainee. He was with the Singapore groups as well, training groups back in the day. Darren with us. Darren, really good to have you give us your thoughts, of course, over the next few days. What have we got in store? Because I know you've been involved with a lot of the organisation as well.
Thanks, Shazad. So, just looking at today's match, I think it's going to be a really interesting one. Obviously, Maqdes looks like he can really bolt the ball, and Shaheed is quite well known for his fast hands, his crafty play. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a game of cat and mouse today. It's going to be a really interesting one to watch, and yeah, so let's sit back and enjoy the action.
Tell us as well, from an organizational point of view, you put your tennis hat on there. Let's get your organizational hat on for a while, because it's the first time we've had Davis Cup action here in 25 years. So that's obviously a big deal from what I'm hearing from all the people involved in tennis. I know as a tennis fan as well, you must be excited. Also, having tennis inside the OCBC arena, that's a nice change as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think it's really nice to be playing on a world class venue. I personally played on the courts last night. Courts are really good.
Oh,
Courts are really nice. I didn't want to get off. They had to pull me off.
Really?
Yeah, they had to drag me off. Kind of didn't want to stop playing. But I think the players are going to have a really, really good time. These courts are in perfect condition. The lighting is great. And it's definitely not affected by weather. So, Singapore's weather is a bit erratic. So
Right.
I think everything is going to be on schedule and it's going to be a really, really good 4 days of tennis.
And if memory serves, and you'll know better than me, they've played previous Davis Cup ties back in the day at SICC Singapore Island Country Club, at the Kallang Tennis Centre. So this is a totally different ball game now, as it were.
This is absolutely amazing. I think the organisers have put a really good one together. And I think this is great for Singapore tennis.
So we also got to remind you that the Davis Cup is actually the biggest international sports event, annual sports event, and that's because it's been running, first of all, for over 100 years, which maybe a lot of people may not be aware of. And there are 133 countries taking part, Darren. And it's a rather complex pyramid type of structure. Perhaps we can get you to tell us. It's also been changed a little bit this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. So the Davis Cup has gone through quite a few changes. You got many groups. So obviously the one that everyone knows about is the World Group, where you've got all your big few countries who play for that big trophy. And then you narrow it down into the different zones. So you have Asia, Oceania, which is what we are playing. You've got the Americas, you've got Europe. And what everyone's playing for is promotion into the World Group. So it's a very well structured ladder system, and there is also a relegation and promotion system. So it makes sure that the standard of quality of tennis is always kept at a very high level.
I'm sure we'll be talking more about the Davis Cup in general, but for now our attentions move to the first tie of this matchup between Kuwait and Singapore. Maqdes to serve. First point of the Davis Cup 2019 goes to Singapore. Hits that long.
Looks a bit nervy, Maqdes. Looks a little bit nervy. I had a bit of time there and he kind of cramped himself up. Just a little bit of a strange shot.
A couple of unforced errors already from Maqdes.
Oh, that was close.
Tight, wasn't it? Tight. Shaheed.
Shazad, I can tell you something. If this is the way points are going, we're going to expect a really, really good match today.
You like what you're seeing so far?
It's good. It's really high quality.
Tell you a bit about Maqdes' former top 20 junior, 400th as well in the world at one point. I like the fact that Shaheed is being pretty aggressive at the moment, isn't he?
Shai is going for it. He's going for it, and you can tell he's confident, striking the ball really clean. I think he's taking Maqdes a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, I think, of course, on paper, Kuwait are the third highest ranked side of the 8 countries that are here. Singapore, the lowest ranked side, by the way, 100th in the world. 30-40 at the moment. Pressure now on that serve for Maqdes.
Ooh, unforced error.
Unfortunate for Shaheed Alam, who was pushing to get the first break of this match.
I think it's interesting because I think Shaheed's changing his strategy somewhat. He's really going for it, putting a lot of pressure on Maqdes. It's going to be an interesting match.
Well, he's hit that very long. Maqdes now has the advantage. What a start we have to this match already. I don't think...
Really fast start.
He's taken the first game, and he had to work hard for that, didn't he, Maqdes?
So I think he struggled a bit, Shazad, but I think he came through. It's interesting because I'm just looking at how he changed his serve direction. He started serving more to Shaheed's backhand. He's probably using to the advantage that a double-handed backhand doesn't have as much reach. It's an interesting strategy, but this match looks to be a real quality one.
Well, he's had a lot of injuries as well in the past, Maqdes. Plantar fasciitis, a foot problem that's fairly common, something I've unfortunately had to deal with in the past, and
something I'm still dealing with.
Okay, so we both know, we've both been there. Here's Alam now, Shaheed Alam to serve.
So if you notice the different styles of play, and if you look at where Maqdes is standing, he's standing really close to the baseline. He's looking to take everything on the rise, and Shaheed's taking a couple of steps back. This is what I was talking about. It's going to be a real cat and mouse game.
We sent that very long. Well, the pressure has just started to turn, hasn't it?
He's starting to take the ball really early. He was almost a foot in when he hit that, kind of taking Shaheed by surprise.
Beautifully hit.
That's a great shot. Opened up the court. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with that. So brilliantly executed.
Early days, but that is the shot of the match so far from Shaheed Alam.
That's an interesting one, Shazad. So a lot of people think that the serve needs to be really, really hard, but Shaheed just demonstrated that if you have a reasonably paced serve but it goes really, really wide, it causes all sorts of problems anyway. I think that's interesting for a lot of our own viewers who are watching and learning from the best in the business.
A couple times he's gone long with his serve. Well, there you were just talking about taking the pace off the ball, weren't you? Surprised.
Yeah. So it's when you take the pace off the ball, you force your opponent to put a lot more into it. So you can't just use your pace. Sometimes it works. Of course, at their level they adapt really fast. But a mix up of pace is always very common when you watch them play in the Davis Cup.
Game apiece here in this first set.
Exciting 7 minutes.
Yeah, it's been nice and tight so far. Kuwait 73rd in the world, remember. Singapore 100th.
Yeah, you can just tell that Maqdes is starting to really step in and take it really early. He's trying to push Shaheed as far back as he can. That's more his style of play.
Well, that's the first time we've seen either player attack the net, and it paid dividends for Maqdes. Well, that has been the rally of the match so far. Shaheed Alam doing well to dig himself out of trouble a couple of times.
That was a really interesting point. A couple of occasions that Shaheed could have come in, and I think he thought twice and he stopped. Things might have been very different here if he had taken the net away from the opponent.
Let's just give us an indication of what we're going to have today. By far, not one-way traffic. That's a delightful drop shot, isn't it?
Great drop shot by Shaheed. Well executed, well disguised. And all the way from the baseline. Not many people try that. Pulled it off really well.
First point in this game for Shaheed Alam after a lovely, sublime drop shot. 40-15 though, to Maqdes. Well, sometimes you need that little bit of luck.
One of those.
That's okay.
Oh, that was a tough one. That was a tough one. That barely cleared the net. It's really well done.
Well, he's just shaking his head there. I'm not sure.
I don't know what he's...
I wonder if he's a little unhappy either with something physical or
maybe
or
he just
his game,
wanted, maybe
his
he just
game so
wanted
far.
his towel. Maybe he just wanted his towel. It's just didn't come. He looks better now. Yeah, so that's the team captain and coach, Daniel Haryanto, who's just, in Davis Cup it's very different when you watch the other tournaments. So the coach can actually coach. The captain actually can coach the player during the changeovers. This is where it adds a whole new dimension to the game.
And maybe for the uninitiated, why not allow coaches to coach when we watch ATP, WTA tournaments? Why is there such a strong rule about, why is there such a hard and fast rule about not having coaching allowed? Because then you get coaches in trouble from doing it from the stands. Why not let them do that?
Well, Shazad, I would love to sound knowledgeable, but I don't really know.
But
it does add a
it's just
very
an odd
different
one,
dimension
isn't
to
it?
the game, yeah.
Because in other team sports or other sports,
Yes.
you're allowed to have that, and it
Yeah.
just seems to be a big no-no in tennis.
Yeah, in the professional matches, you're
Yeah.
not allowed to coach, and it's actually quite a big thing if you're coaching on the side.
We've seen it, haven't we? Serena Williams,
Yep.
most recently, her coach as well, doing that, which caused a big kerfuffle. But anyway, here we are. Shaheed Alam to serve.
So a couple of interesting things. Both players pretty high first serve percentages. 79% for Maqdes. And Shaheed's on 67%. It's relatively high. And usually when they get their first serve in, they win the point. So again, looks like really high quality match of tennis.
Yeah, just grounded that, didn't he? On the way to playing that drop shot.
And I noticed Shaheed is starting to step in as well. He's starting to take the time away from Maqdes. It's interesting. Both players are trying to take the ball a lot earlier. It could be because this surface is a little bit slow. So when I played yesterday, the ball set up a little bit. So
I was
maybe
just
there's
going to
a
ask
bit
you,
more
how
time.
was it playing? Yeah, so it is a bit slow.
Surface
Okay.
is a little bit slow.
Gone long there. I think you'll be disappointed with that.
I think he thought he should have made it. That was close.
Another decent rally and an important point there for Shahid Alam. (40-30) now.
Went for it. Didn't quite hit it. Came off his frame a little. Again, Shazad, I think it's interesting to note that when you know in the opening few games, Shaheed was standing back a little, and now he's really stepping. He's actually within the baseline. He's taking it quite early and putting a lot of pressure on Maqdes. Maqdes seems to be struggling a little bit. You're right. He seems to be struggling a little bit with his fitness. I'm not sure if that same injury is plaguing him.
Yeah, you could just see that body language of his. He's 32 years of age now, Maqdes. He's played in the Davis Cup 16 years. It's a long, long time.
It's a long time.
So he was just a teenager when he first started. He's trying to take this match.
He's trying to take it. He's not just sitting back waiting for something to happen, which is great. That's how good tennis is always played.
Well, these rallies are going probably a lot longer than Maqdes would have thought coming into this. Shaheed Alam is making him work for every point.
Every point.
And you just wonder, Darren, as this progresses, these rallies getting longer, this is probably working in Shaheed's favour.
I would think so. I mean, Shaheed is probably the fitter of the two. But Maqdes has the ability to hit you off the court. I mean, he hits the ball quite hard. So this will be it'll be interesting to watch. Oh, I got lucky. Should have done more of the volley actually. I think that caught Shaheed a little bit off guard as well.
Just talking about the difference in the two, Shaheed Alam is 21. She has the same birthday as me. Hopefully that's a lucky sign.
I'm still younger than these guys.
First ace of the match.
It's great serve.
Goes the way of Maqdes. And with that, he takes the game.
So Shazad, as the match progresses, and definitely as the players are starting to tire, you can see the little gap starting to open up. And it's becoming quite apparent what their strategies are. So Shaheed's got that forehand that he likes to open you wide, and then he will take the net. Whereas Maqdes has this run around forehand, and he demonstrated a few times, where he's able to attack you, to attack Shaheed while he's on the run. He's got this blistering forehand that he really hits very well. So these gaps are starting to open up. I think that the initial few points that we saw, now it's all starting to settle down to a bit of a rhythm. The aces are starting to come in. First serve percentages are still relatively high. So we're gonna see a real game of cat and mouse, as both players are gonna start slugging it up.
There's the captain of the Kuwait team, Adel Al-Shati, who played Davis Cup for 10 years. Now a commentator like us, Darren. By the way, we've got actually a very, very good crowd here, and you saying that interest in the Davis Cup has been superb.
It's been amazing. So we look like we're going to get a full house on Saturday, and we are close to full house for today, tomorrow, and the day after as well. So the response from the Singaporean crowd has been absolutely amazing, and we like to thank you for that.
Lovely team.
That was tight margins. Great rally again. 15 all. Just get the impression we might be at a turning point in this first set. Oh, that was a chance, wasn't it, for Maqdes? Didn't take it. He will be annoyed with himself. Yeah, you can see that on his face. It was there for the taking. A little bit of a let off there for Shaheed Alam.
That's the forehand I was talking about. With pace, puts a lot of pressure on Shaheed. I realized that Shaheed is starting to hit a little bit short. That's giving Maqdes a little bit of time to react. So yeah.
He's not eliciting very positive body energy at the moment, is he, Maqdes?
He looks a little down.
Yeah. It's that willingness to come to the net, to force the issue a bit from Maqdes that has served him well relatively so far.
He's starting to put a lot of pressure on Shaheed.
And he's got a break point here. And we have the first break of this match.
So
Maqdes has done well.
So Shazad, that was what I was saying. Because Shaheed's hitting the ball a bit short, and you can see Maqdes is standing well within the baseline, and he's dictating the pace of the point. If I was Shaheed, I would step up and I'll go for it early as well because Maqdes has hits the ball really, really heavy, so it's not going to give you a lot of time.
Yeah, we did say that was the. Did feel that there was going to be a turning point in that previous game. He's 4-2 up here, and he's building some momentum. And that is known as a commentator's jinx.
That's a great shot by Shaheed. He's been trying that the whole morning. When Maqdes has come in, finally pulled it off. Great execution right there.
Unforced error again from Shaheed Alam.
Maqdes has settled into the match relatively well, starting to hit what seems to be his comfort zone and hitting with a lot of authority. This is going to put a lot of pressure on the Singapore player, and you can tell that he's starting to struggle with the pace a little bit.
Very nicely done there by Maqdes. And he is on the up and up, isn't he, Darren?
Yeah, he's starting to really settle in, like I said. And the confidence is starting to show. I think the last point showed that he knew exactly what he wanted to do, crafted it with the inside-out forehand. opened up the court and just exploited the space. Oh, that's a great backhand, right on the line. Really nice and deep.
You were talking about how short he was placing it earlier.
That was really deep.
That's going to the other extreme, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a bit better there from Shaheed Alam. And he's brought things to deuce here. So could the pressure be back on Maqdes?
I can't help but feel that the momentum is quite firmly in Maqdes' side now. He's stepping in, he's looking confident, he's opening up the court with that forehand of his obviously well-known weapon. But you know, tennis is a strange game. 1 point could change it all. So let's see what happens.
Opportunities were there for Shaheed Alam, but Maqdes presses home the advantage. He's now 5-2 up in this first set. And another break here would give him the first. Shaheed Alam, pressure is on him here. Just tell you.
So Shazad, just to give an idea of how close this match is, even though the score is 5-2. Maqdes has won 25 points in total, and Shaheed has won 19. So it's actually not that far apart. It's really just those few points here and there that's really resulting in the difference. Again, I just kind of wish that Shaheed would step up a little bit more, step in a little bit more, and take the and not let Maqdes dictate the play.
Talking about the crowds and how good they are. Remember, this is a weekday morning, and we're about 3/4 full here at the OCBC Arena, with more to come. I'm sure as the day progresses, Darren, and as the tournament progresses. I think you said it was a sellout on
Saturday.
On
yeah,
Saturday.
it's full up. I mean, as a former player, it's really heartwarming to see the crowd come in supporting of our Singaporean athletes. I think it's great, and I think our Singaporean athletes are very appreciative of this as well. I think even the foreign athletes are very appreciative of this.
I think it's quite nice that you can play tennis in air conditioning, which is a rarity.
It's brilliant in Singapore.
Given the searing temperatures that we have around this time of year. So, pressure now here on Shaheed Alam.
Should have made it. You see, Shazad, that's the forehand I was telling you about. Uses great effect to open up the court, and then he starts inching in and starts taking the net away from Shaheed. That's the one that Shaheed needs to watch for.
Yeah, he's using it to great effect as the set progresses. Wow. It's now or never really for Shaheed to try and rescue this game and the first set. Three set points here for Abdullah Maqdes. He looks a little bit more relaxed now.
Looks like a happier person now. I can't really tell, but he looks happier.
And with that drop shot, it's out, and Shaheed Alam loses the first set. Abdullah Maqdes wins that 6-2. And it's gone a lot more comfortable for him as that set progressed. But it started off pretty well for Shaheed Alam, didn't it?
It did, and to be fair, both players are not playing badly, and Shaheed's not playing badly. But I think the only difference was that Maqdes, if you looked at the last point, he's been taking a lot of risk and stepping in, taking it early. If you looked at just the last point alone, he was almost 2 feet in front of the baseline when he returned serve, and I think that kind of return, that kind of hitting, puts a lot of pressure on Shaheed, because the ball comes back faster, and I think Shaheed's just been missing out on a few points, in a few key points, and it would have been very different if he had made those. So it's not all one-way traffic. I think both players are playing a really good match, but it all boils down to the few key points that they're winning. Shazad, just a couple of interesting things. So I think one of the key factors was that Maqdes had a really high first serve percentage in the first set. 78%.
That was getting better, wasn't it?
That was actually getting better,
and it's gone a little worse for Shaheed now.
Yeah, so I think that might be something that Shaheed might want to take note of, and so I think other than the last game, the total number of points won by both players were actually quite close. So it is still it's a very entertaining match, I must admit. And I think Shaheed's still within striking distance of coming back in this one.
Just remind you, of course, that there are 8 countries taking part in this Davis Cup Asia Oceania Group 3. And Pool A consists of Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Kuwait and Singapore. So Vietnam and Sri Lanka doing battle as well. And Pool B is Iran, Syria, Qatar and Malaysia. So the 2 pool winners have the opportunity of going up, and there are the bottom 2 could well be relegated as well. That's to be decided later in the year in this slightly revised format.
That's right.
Kuwait, as we said, one of the high ranked sides of the 8 here in Singapore, 73rd in the world. They've got good experience here, though actually Singapore have got a good head-to-head record against Kuwait, 3-1 in the 4 times that they've met, though Kuwait won the last time they played, which was in 1999. Not that that should matter, but the interesting thing is Mohammad Garib, who is playing in the next singles match, he was involved in that tie.
Mohammad Garib's been around a long time. He's played 33 Davis Cups, if I'm not wrong, and he's actually got he actually has a Davis Cup Commitment Award, which is quite amazing.
Yep.
Again, coming back to the stats for the first set, I think the turning point was really when Shaheed was broken for the first time. It was really, really close before that, and I think all what that happened was that it gave Maqdes the confidence to step up and to really go for it. I think it showed. watching the replay, you can see that Shaheed is starting to retreat behind the baseline. Maqdes is starting to move in. You know, tennis is an interesting game. That might not be the only way to play it, but in this match, you can tell that that's the pattern that's emerging. It's going to be interesting because that was only the first set, and players get fatigued and they get tired. We'll never know what happens. Tennis is an interesting one.
Time.
Quick toilet break there for Shaheed Alam, which is why we had a slightly longer break than usual. Here we are, then, second set.
I think Shaheed needs to keep his nerve a little, play the ball a little more. He looks like he's probably the fitter of both players, and I think he can afford to drag the points a little bit longer.
It's going well. Good start to the second set for Maqdes. Remember, this is best of 3 sets. Well, Maqdes is making Shaheed Alam do all the running at the moment. Momentum clearly with the Kuwaiti.
It's that forehand again, opening up the court.
Well, he won that at a canter, didn't he? He's looking much more comfortable now. He's pretty happy. Not spending any time. He's just getting on with it. Whereas Shaheed Alam is getting having a fair bit of a chat with his coach. And we were just talking about coaching earlier. Roger Federer, by the way, he's very much against it. Says it's a good leveler. Says, I don't support on-court coaching. I think that I've been the best in the world, and so I don't think it's fair that I could profit from that. And another guy who maybe has no coach can't benefit at all. Yeah, that's all well and good, but when you're playing someone, a peer, who has got a coach, why not allow that, you know? Now we haven't seen enough of that, have we?
That's what I've been saying. Shaheed needs to hit a lot deeper, and you can tell the moment he hits deeper, Maqdes is actually struggling with the pace. He's not as fast as Shaheed, so Shaheed needs to use that to his advantage. There we go. There we go.
That's more like it from Shaheed Alam.
It still feels to me that Maqdes struggles a little bit with his movement. I wonder whether it's that same plantar fasciitis injury that has plagued his career.
Well, he was going for it, wasn't he? Don't think he'd be too disappointed. At least he's taking the initiative here.
Exactly. That was a really good idea to approach on his forehand. It's just unfortunate that execution didn't quite meet the intent. Shaheed's really starting to step up now, Shazad. He's really starting to hit deeper, starting to put pressure on Maqdes. And you can tell that Maqdes doesn't like the pressure. You can tell he's starting to rush through his shots a little bit. He doesn't like that kind of pressure.
Just begs the question, can Shahid Alam continue that?
He's missed a few of those.
Quite a number.
Missed
actually,
a few of those.
Unforced errors from Shahid Alam.
I'm not so sure if he needs to go for such a low percentage passing shot, or maybe just put his opponent under pressure.
Well, that was the opportunity for the break point. Get the break.
I think Maqdes will be disappointed at that return.
First serves going down now for Shahid Alam.
Two very, very loose returns from Maqdes. I think as we continue watching, we'll start to realize whether that's fatigue or whether it's just one of those things in tennis where you just miss hit the ball.
Shaheed started very aggressively, then he kind of tapered off for a bit. He's trying to be aggressive again at the start of the second set.
And I think it's the right strategy. I think he needs to take the game to Maqdes and put him under pressure.
A number of times he's done that.
I could see what he was trying to do because Maqdes was so far behind the baseline. But because the court's a bit slower, so the timings could be a little bit different for the players. That's a good shot by Shaheed.
That's what he needs to do more of.
But again, you can tell that Maqdes is starting to step up again and take the ball really early on the rise. And he's putting Shaheed under a lot of pressure for that point.
Yeah, he's got a great willingness to come to that net and attack. Shaheed has shown less enthusiasm for that. That looked very tight, and I think Maqdes had a bit of a glare at the umpire as well, didn't he? Again, that was set up beautifully for him. And unforced errors are beginning to pile up for Shahid Alam.
There's that forehand again. You know, Shazad, one thing you realize, Maqdes hasn't hit many backhands this entire match. He's been running around, and he's been fairly accurate on his shots. But you can tell that the fatigue's starting to set in. Starting to move a little bit slower, a little bit more gingerly. Let's see whether Shaheed can potentially use that in his favor sometime in this match.
That is out, and he's won almost 80% of his second serve points. Done well there, Maqdes. But you're right, again, that body language that we saw around this point of the first set with Maqdes is coming back. And you just wonder about the fitness. But you were saying Shahid's got to take advantage.
He's breathing a little hard, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's coming to a point where it's got to do it sooner rather than later, Shaheed Alam.
That's right. And just back to Shaheed, I think in Singapore you'll see that he'll have one of the nicest double-handed backhands in the Singapore circuit. In fact, I think his technique for his double-handed backhand is actually one of the best I've ever seen. And coming to a few points ago when he hit it deep and nice, it's a really, really smooth backhand. And I think the advantage that he has is that he doesn't need to run around as much. Whereas for Maqdes, his weaker shot is obviously his backhand. And so that's why he runs around a lot, and also because his forehand has a lot of pace. It's interesting because, again, like when we started the match, we kind of predicted it was going to be a game of cat and mouse. And Shaheed's it's more of a counter puncher, whereas Maqdes is more of a hitter, and he wins points outright, or he creates the point. So, but in doing that, it also creates a lot of fatigue in the player. So it's going to be interesting to watch it from here on. This is usually where fatigue starts to take over, and tennis matches can swing can really start to swing in someone else's favor.
Again, you feel a pivotal moment here for Shaheed Alam. Big cheer from the crowd here. That's more like it from the local lad. An exchange of drop shots there, and he's been good at those.
That's an interesting one. I didn't think that Maqdes would attempt a drop shot. And I don't know whether it's because he's getting tired or whether it's just a change of pace. We need to keep watching to see what's developing. He looks really tired though. He's looking really tired.
Again, deftly done by Shaheed Alam. Lovely point from him. The crowd appreciate that as well. And they're keeping pace with each other at the moment in this second set.
Remember when we first started, I told you Shaheed had some very good hands. I think he's starting to realize that his opponent is not as fast and fit as he is. He's starting to use that to his advantage.
Well,
Looked a bit tired, that one.
yeah, he had the opportunity there. It was around this point in the first set where we said things could just change. Is this the same here in the second? And it could be going in Shaheed Alam's favour.
He needed that serve.
Important serve,
That was a
absolutely.
really important serve. He needed that one.
Absolutely right. Oh, and that
Spotted the opening.
was a chance, wasn't it, for Alam? He knows it. Had that 2-point advantage in this game. It's all gone. That's well hit. Couple of mishits from both of them in that rally.
But you can see that Shaheed is trying to hit a lot deeper. And Maqdes has to work a lot harder now for the shots. Look at where he's hitting the forehand. He's so far behind the baseline. And I think that's good strategy on Shaheed's part.
You were talking about hitting those deeper.
That was
That's
a great
absolutely right.
return. And you can tell Maqdes doesn't like it when he needs to scramble behind the baseline. He likes to take the advantage. That was a really good return by Shaheed.
He's scrapping hard here in this game, Shaheed Alam. Needs that break, of course.
That's unlucky.
The opportunities he's had in this particular game, Darren.
He's had his chances. He's had his
Absolutely.
chances.
Well, he's worked very, very hard. He had to dig deep here, Maqdes, to win this game.
I think the next game is going to be really important. It's the same. It's at the same time when the momentum shifted in the first set, and I can't help but feel that Shaheed's actually got a little bit of edge this set. He's looking fresh. He's still looking fresh, hitting a lot deeper, and it seems like he kind of knows the strategy to play with Maqdes now. And Maqdes is starting to tire a little bit. You can tell his feet are moving a little bit slowly. It's not shuffling as much as before. I can't help but think that maybe Shaheed's got a little bit of an edge in the second set.
I had a bit of a chat with Shaheed just before the match, Darren, and he's a very chilled out kind of guy, and
He is.
he was sort of in the zone. But when I had a chat, he seemed very relaxed. I said, I'm sorry, this is just a few minutes before your match. Hope you don't mind. We have a quick chat and catch up on things. And he seemed very calm, and he said, I'm not going in with any expectations. We're not setting ourselves targets. We're not putting our pressure on ourselves. And that also comes with the fact that Singapore are the lowest ranked side here, and it's about performance, not necessarily results.
That's right. And I mean, I know Shaheed personally as well, and he is that kind of guy. And that performance usually translates onto court. As you can tell, his body language is still quite relaxed. And I agree. I think for them it's all about performing. And I think these guys have done a good job today. Both Kuwait and Singapore have done a great job today. Opening match, it's been brilliant.
And absolutely, and it's nowhere near a one-horse race at the moment. Shaheed Alam with a chance here. As Darren said, this was around this point in the last set where Maqdes got the break. And it may well be going down that route again.
There's a couple of unforced errors. A little bit of tightness in Shaheed.
That all started with a deep shot, Darren. Exactly what you were talking about earlier.
And I think as he starts to hit deeper, you can tell Maqdes doesn't really know what to expect anymore, and he doesn't have time to run around. I think that's important. You got to take his weapon away from him, because the moment he runs around and he unleashes that forehand, then Shaheed's back on the defensive.
But you also like the fact that he's varying things, isn't he, with a couple of drops as well.
That's right.
Making him work for that. Better from Shaheed Alam.
Few signs of frustration from Maqdes. I think it's the first time in this match that he's openly scolding himself on court.
Oh, what a chance there. He didn't take him, Maqdes. Really well done by Shaheed Alam.
That's a great down the line forehand. But you can tell that he had to work really hard for the point, and that's again it comes back to what I was saying. When Maqdes gets that forehand, he really pushes. Look at how far he is when he has to hit that. You know, and you can tell from Shaheed's face that was one of the lucky ones. So it's well done though.
He'll take that.
Unlucky. Unlucky.
These two are scrapping it out at the moment, and it is so tight here in this second set, isn't it? Deuce now on Alam's serve. Now he's had problems with his second serve. He's not won many points on it.
We didn't see many of those during the first set. And you look at the body language of Maqdes. He's starting to get a little bit down on himself.
What I'm also noticing is it's the first time I'm hearing grunting.
That's right.
That's just started. We haven't heard that from him before, and I'm just wondering, is he exerting himself a lot more, or is it just taking a toll on him?
And again, that's to great effect. I think when Shaheed starting to hit the ball really deep, and when he does that to Maqdes' backhand, he doesn't have time to run around, so he was forced to hit a slice and hit an unforced error. I think 3-all it's going to be really interesting from here on.
Love it that these two are keeping pace with each other, scrapping for every point. 19 points won apiece so far in the second set.
You can see where Shaheed is starting to stand. He's actually standing right on the baseline, or maybe just a little bit behind it. He's putting a lot of pace on those shots, and you can tell Maqdes doesn't have as much time anymore to dictate the pace. I think this strategy is spot on from the Singaporean player.
That's out.
That's unlucky.
More and more unforced errors.
First double fault.
First one, yep,
First
of
double
this
fault.
match. He's been very good with his serve so far, Maqdes. Again, tight.
That was really close.
Very, very tight, that one.
You know, one thing, Shazad, I've realized is that Maqdes is only serving 64% this set. Shaheed's actually serving 90% for serves, and you can tell that that's probably a sign of a player who's getting a little bit tired.
Because he served so much better, didn't he,
In the first set, he was serving 78%, so that was a lot better. Oh, that was
Again.
That was lucky.
You recall what happened in a very similar situation in the
fortunate.
first set. This time you managed to just about get it over. 4-3. Neck and neck, these two. Pressure back on Shahid Alam. This is a man, by the way, who played for USC, University of Southern California, is a double NCAA champion.
So this is something interesting, Shazad. I just realized that every time Maqdes is on a changeover, his captain is actually helping to massage his legs. So I don't know whether it's cramp or maybe it's just a muscle strain, but it could probably explain why he's in a bit of discomfort when he's playing. Take nothing away from the guy, he's playing a great match, but it looks like he could be struggling a little bit. So let's see whether Shaheed can use that to his advantage.
Yeah, it's clear that neither of the two singles players for Kuwait have played outside of Davis Cup.
That's right.
And so you're not playing in this kind of level consistently, and that does take its toll, doesn't it?
That's right, it does. It's very taxing on the body, and they're playing they're playing doubles as well. So it's very, very taxing on the body.
That looks like a bit of a tired return from Maqdes.
It's
Again.
nice and deep.
That's what you wanted.
And again, back to the courts, Shahzad, you can tell it's raining outside. I think the players are really fortunate to be playing indoor, not affected by weather.
Yeah,
The last thing you need is for your concentration to be broken by a rain
a
break.
rain delay. Yeah, absolutely. You can hear it outside. It's coming down pretty thick and fast. So the decision to play justified.
That's a
That's
good point by Maqdes.
Much better from Maqdes. Very telling his willingness to attack the net as opposed to Shaheed Alam. Great stuff from Shaheed.
So you can see that Maqdes is trying to force the point. And I think the previous point, he was obviously trying to shorten the points and take the initiative. The last one though, when he's starting to look a little bit tired. He's no longer as mobile as before. And I don't know if the Singaporean camp has spotted that, but he's definitely not moving as well as the first set. Another tired return.
Keeping pace. Shaheed Alam, Maqdes, 4-all in the second set. And has there been a slight momentum shift here?
Shaheed serving phenomenally. He's serving phenomenally this set. 88% for serves, and even on second serves, he's won every point on second serve. That's just amazing.
Can he now convert that? This chance here, maybe to break Maqdes if he can. The crowd know how valuable these points are now.
Really starting to put the pressure. Shaheed really hitting through those shots. A lot of pace. You can tell how fast it came off the court.
Not a bad idea. He just has a little question.
So close.
Tight, wasn't it, again? And that's a point being made by player and coach.
One thing though, Shaheed really scrambled for those shots really well.
He hasn't really beaten Maqdes at the net too many times and
Not
almost
not at
got that
all.
long.
Almost got that one.
Is there any point really in doing this?
I don't know, Shazad, but you know, if that was in,
Yes,
the whole complexion of this set would have changed.
fair point, but because we're not having any replays system or any appeal system here, he's just got to get on with it, hasn't he?
Just gotta get on with it, yeah. That looked really tired. I think it's safe to say that Maqdes is starting to feel a little bit fatigued on court.
There was just a little yelp there from Shaheed Alam. You knows how important that was.
That's a great forehand. That's the one that was damaging Shaheed the entire first set.
What we saw more in the first set, didn't we?
We saw a lot of that in the first set. Crucial points coming up.
Again, not quite working out. Maqdes looks comfortable around the net.
Maqdes is really trying to force the issue. I think he knows that if he stays behind, it will always work in Shaheed's favor.
I think from his point of view, he wants to wrap this up.
I think so
he
too.
can. Get out of there. Well, he's won that game. That means it's 5-4 in the second set, and Shaheed Alam needs to take the next game. Well, that is the match.
And let's not forget that Maqdes will be playing doubles as well later. And I mean, you can't blame him if he wants to wrap this up and get off, because it's going to be a long day for all the players. In fact, both Singapore and Kuwait will be repeating their players in the doubles. It's going to be a long day today.
So this, absolutely crucial here for Shaheed Alam. A lot riding now on his serve, which has been excellent in the second set.
He's been serving well this set.
Mishit that one, Maqdes.
A bit nervy, that forehand. It looked a little bit stiff when he hit that. Not his usual free-flowing style.
Well, that was not great from Shaheed Alam. He'll be disappointed with that.
You can tell Maqdes wants to close this out.
Psych himself up here. Finish it off, he says. Finish it off. Important. The crowd know it.
Again, it's those deep shots that Maqdes really can't deal with. When he doesn't have the kind of time, you can tell that he's struggling a little bit to move. He's struggling a little bit to hit the ball. It's always coming off his frame.
Wow, he has really done well there. That's the first
Really
lob
good
he's
hands
had
by Shaheed,
that stayed
really
in.
good hands. And you can tell he knew exactly what he wanted to do with that. From the way he shaped his body to the way he hit it. And look at the technique. It's really good technique.
Reaction from him. He knows how important that was. He's given himself a little bit of a cushion here. That is a sublime, sublime drop shot.
It's good touch by the big man. Still game point for Shaheed. Oh, he's not going to be happy with that one.
A number of occasions that's happened to Shaheed Alam. You know, his second serves have been excellent in this second set. And I'm afraid it hasn't been the case. Yeah, an odd shot.
That's a strange one. I think the racket slipped from his hand.
And what that now means, we have match point.
I think Maqdes is going to go all out for this one. He's going to run around. He's going to bolt the forehand. It's all or nothing for him.
Shaheed Alam will have to dig deep here. On the brink here, Abdullah Maqdes. Taking some time here. Just wonder whether this is all part of some mind games. He's keeping himself moving, Maqdes. Shaheed Alam in absolutely no hurry to take this. To take a serve. And
something's happening.
Yeah, bit of a chat there with the umpire. I think he's pointing out because he mishit that shot. There was something wrong with his thumb, perhaps.
Looks
He's
like
pointing
injured
at
himself.
Yeah. Oh, I think he wants some. Does he want some treatment?
And what a time for that to happen on match point.
And the penultimate, possibly the penultimate point of this entire match. I think he just wants some treatment. The Kuwaiti captain. I don't think he's very happy with that. Well, the crowd coming in for what could be the last point of this game. Shaheed Alam is just clutching his thumb. It was a very odd shot.
It was strange. Yeah, it was strange. I thought his racket slipped. I thought maybe his hand was sweaty, but it seems like he might have picked up a bit of an injury. You know, Shazad, back to the crowd. I think it's really great to see Singaporeans coming in. I mean, despite the weather, you can hear it's really coming on outside, and we're having Singaporeans coming in. Obviously, we got a very big tennis viewership in Singapore as well.
Well, I mean, let's look at the last few years, Darren, and we've had, of course, the WTA finals here. We've had the IPTL, so we've had world-class tennis players grace our shores.
That's right,
and that's been a real treat, hasn't it?
Yeah.
For Singaporeans, residents of Singapore, really.
Yeah.
To see that kind of standard, and now you got Davis Cup.
Exactly. So I think a lot has been done in Singapore, and the knowledge of tennis is growing, even amongst the non-tennis players. And of course, tennis is a huge spectator sport. Sorry, and I think that because of that, we get a lot of people who are now saying, oh, this is nice court, it's weatherproof. It's where, you know, we're free of all the issues of rain, thunderstorm, like what's happening now, and the coming is comfortable. And take it from me, these courts are really nice. If you had a chance, you should go and hit.
Well,
if they give you a chance.
Perhaps you and I can have a go on it at some point.
We'll ask the tournament director. We'll try.
We'll have a chat. We'll have a chat with them.
He'll
later.
probably say no.
Maybe towards the end of this tournament. Meanwhile, Abdullah Maqdes is on the verge of clinching this match. He's pacing up and down. There is a little bit of a crowd around Shaheed Alam as he receives treatment on his thumb.
Yeah.
Tournament director is keeping a close eye on proceedings. Is he heading off now?
It's interesting because usually you don't take injury timeouts during the game. You only do that when it's changed. So it must be something quite serious.
Oh, he needed to get that one in.
Brilliant.
Absolutely vital for Shaheed Alam. It's juice again.
And again, it's that technique on his backhand that allows him to hit these winners from behind the baseline. I mean, just look at the technique, how smooth he swings through the shot.
So he saved match point. And he now might be able to save the game. Take this to 5-all if he can. Maqdes, what you're not seeing off camera is he's not very happy. He's just shaking his head. What a rally.
What a point.
What a rally it was. And the biggest roar of the morning for Shaheed Alam, who asked the crowd to get behind him, and they do. 5-all. What a rally that was.
Shazad,
and
I think
Maqdes could have finished it off.
He could have won. He won that point 3 times, and somehow Shaheed got there. Very good scrambling. Really good running by the Singaporean. Look at that. Look at that.
How he digs those out, Darren. We've seen that time and time again today.
Starting to look really tired now, Maqdes. He wasn't missing those in the first set.
3 points in a row, Shaheed Alam, all after that extended break to tend to his thumb. Just wonder.
That's a good
4 in a
return.
row. The crowd roaring now. Every point here for Shaheed Alam. The momentum shift. Clearly with Shaheed Alam at the moment. And it could be break here. It's gone out. Well, I've got to say, Shaheed Alam has a point here. He can't believe it. And frankly,
That was really close.
neither can we.
That was really close.
Well, that would have been his first break of this match. He's
Still got 2 opportunities.
excellent.
Oh, that was
And he's
brilliant.
done it. Brilliant stuff from Shaheed Alam. On the brink of defeat here. He has turned that now into his first break of the match.
And I think that Maqdes should have done a lot more with that first volley. I think he didn't cover his line very well. I mean, there was only one area that Shaheed could have hit at, and he let the ball drop to his feet. If you look at the replay, no, we're not gonna get it, but yeah.
Singapore has won the first match, or first rubber, 6-2, 5-6.
Having some fun here at the courts. Shahzad's extremely nervous at this match.
I'll tell you what, this is great tension in the air. Fantastic stuff here at the OCBC Arena. Oh, he's just got that in.
You know, Shahzad, I can't help but think that Maqdes is getting a little bit desperate. He's been executing a lot of drop shots. I mean, it's paid off, but
There are more and more of those coming through.
that's a lot of those coming through, and that's not his style of play. So I think he's really trying to end the points off as quickly as he can.
And a little bit of luck there. Well, this is the game, of course, for Shaheed Alam to take the set, but he's dropped the first 2 points. Maqdes can breathe just a little bit easier here as he tries to take this to a tiebreak.
That was tired. He didn't even move his feet. He just swung at it and didn't move his feet. I think he knew it. I think he knew he didn't execute that very well. I think it was
He's just talking to himself. Poor shot from him. Just looking across to his captain. Effort from Shaheed Alam.
and you can sense it. Maqdes is really struggling on his movement now. He's really struggling. I mean, the last point was really apparent. He was stretching for it. He didn't move anymore.
Can he press this home now? Press home that momentum he's carried since he faced match point and saved it. That was the
that's
opportunity.
That was a cheeky one. Out of nowhere.
His drop shots today have generally been good. He knows it. That was the opportunity. And that has given Maqdes a chance for break point. Oh, he's hit that in. Just a little look across from Shaheed Alam, but it does mean we are in to the tie break. And so he'll be kicking himself, won't he, Shaheed Alam? He just had the break and he's been broken back.
Those games are always difficult. The ones where you break, it's crucial. And you know, we had a bit of issue on court just now, so.
Now it's his turn to dispute. Not happy with that one. He's saying it was that much in.
Might have had a bit of a case there, actually.
I think both of them have had a case, haven't they, really? Different points.
It's good that he's smiling it off. Means he's letting it go.
First point in the tiebreak to Shaheed Alam. Emphatic from Shaheed Alam.
And you can tell, Shazad, he's really stepping in now. You can tell he's where he hit that. He was right inside the baseline when he hit the winner. And it seems like the roles have reversed. And Maqdes is actually camping behind the baseline now, and he's looking to play a slightly more defensive game.
Three in a row. Pressure on the Kuwaiti. Oh, we had him there. He knows it, Shaheed Alam.
He worked so hard for that.
Absolutely did. Tenacious in that point, Shaheed Alam, and it was there for the taking.
And again, Maqdes had outrightly won the point on the forehand, and Shaheed was there, retrieved. It just shows you that in tennis, you chase every ball down, and the momentum changes.
Was that in? Oh, it's... few questions of the umpiring from both players at different times. Has been awarded to Maqdes. There are some very tight calls here.
It's really tight.
Well, fair play to Maqdes. He was 3 down in this tiebreak. He's drawn himself level.
I'm not sure if Shaheed realized that he had a whole open court to hit to on the forehand. But Maqdes is really struggling on his movement, you can tell. I mean, it's easy for us to say we're sitting here and we're comfortable with our ice lemon teas, but it's not so easy when you're playing it.
Remember, even if he does go on to win this, he has been pushed all the way, and he's still got a doubles match to play later, Maqdes. So does Shaheed Alam as well, to be fair.
Shaheed's 21.
But there is an age difference. Absolutely right. Brilliant. Brilliant from Shaheed Alam. This tiebreak swinging in momentum.
And again, Shazad, look at where he hit that shot. He was so far in the court. And even before Maqdes could react, the winner had already happened. So I think he's starting to realize that he needs to do that a lot more.
Not for the first time. An unforced error. Shaheed Alam. And that means it's 4-all here in this tiebreak.
It's that backhand again.
Awesome.
Great execution.
From Shaheed Alam.
Took it nice and early.
Couple more points away from taking the second set, his first of the match. So little to separate these two in this second set. Right on the tape. Can't call this one.
I think both players are going through a little bit of a roller coaster of emotions.
So some of the crowd as well.
Maybe I am. I'm not so sure, but
Well, it's been entertaining stuff here at the OCBC Arena. Tried that lob. I love how Maqdes makes the decision for the umpire. I know some people really don't like that kind of thing. But the fact of the matter is now he is back on match point. The second one he has had. Remember, Shaheed Alam saved very dramatic circumstances the last match point. Can he dig deep once again?
oh, he had the whole court to himself. I mean, Shazad, he didn't need to go for.
Why did he need to play that?
He didn't need to go for such a low margin shot. Anywhere in the court would have been game, set, and match to Kuwait.
He had the whole court, as you said, at his mercy. Didn't take that option. 6-all. 2 clear points now required. That's 2 match points saved from Shaheed Alam.
And the roller coaster continues.
Third match point here for Maqdes.
Really forcing the issue now. He wants to finish this. I mean, to be honest, I don't think I can't see Maqdes going to a third set.
Okay, so you think this is going to...
That's not going to work in his favor at all.
It's on Shaheed Alam now. Can he make it 3 times in a row? Yes, he can. Well. This man is working ever so hard. And you just feel, if he takes this set, if he can somehow take this second set, it could well be in his favor going into the third.
Absolutely.
And
that's unlucky.
There's the little bit of fortune that Maqdes needs. You need that, of course, in any match. And that's now the 4th match point he's got. It's his serve as well. Oh! Once again.
Again, he didn't need to go for that shot. All he needed to do was make the play. That's all he needed to do.
He knows it. 4 match points have come and gone for Abdullah Maqdes. He's annoyed with himself. Oh, he needed that. And the crowd, again, roar with approval.
You know, Shazad, Maqdes had so many opportunities to go in, and he didn't, and he paid the price. The moment the ball got short, Shaheed stepped in on his forehand, hit the winner.
And for the first time in this match, he has a set point. So the pressure now, for the first time, on him to convert. Well, at the first time of asking, Maqdes responds well.
That was a really good volley by Maqdes under the circumstances.
Got to say, this has been an excellent second set. Really has been entertaining. So little to separate these two. 46 points won by Maqdes, 47 to Shaheed Alam. There's just no separating them.
There's nothing separating them in this set.
The effort from both. This time it goes Shaheed's way, and again, he has his second set point.
I think one thing is quite clear, and you can tell that the body language from Shaheed is very, very positive, and Maqdes is starting to get down on himself a little bit with the mistakes that he's been making. That's actually happened the whole of the second set. It's so important in tennis to always keep your mental up there with your opponent.
He's taken it. Shine Alam draws level. 1-1 here. And remember, Maqdes had 4 match points. He has dug very, very deep, this young man, and he's done brilliantly.
He's done really well, and I don't think this is going to work out for Maqdes at all. He's already looking quite a tired figure on court. So, but who knows? It's tennis. We always get surprised.
And these wonderful scenes here. He has clung in there, hasn't he? And the crowd have played their part as well. The momentum is with him, you feel?
You know, one thing, Shazad, one thing that I realized that's very different from this year's Singapore team is that they've obviously worked very hard on their fitness. The players are looking a lot fitter, obviously a lot faster, and you can tell that that Shaheed's ability to chase down shots that were clearly winners is putting a lot of pressure on his opponent as well. And I think a lot of credit is to be given to the coaching team and the trainers who have obviously, they've gotten their ducks in place, as you would say it, and they've put them through a very rigorous training program. And you can tell, I mean, Shaheed, and you have players who are emerging through the ITF tournaments now who are winning titles. I think this is all very good for Singapore tennis.
Yeah, it's all boding well at the moment for Singapore here. 1-1. Shine Alam will feel that he now should capitalise on this. And while he's been facing all the match points, there is something to be said for saving them as well. There have been a number of unforced errors from Maqdes. Let's be clear about that. He's had the opportunities to put them away, and he's just not taken them. I think at least 2 of those 4. Well, the court was at his mercy.
Absolutely. I think the court was open. All he needed to do was just pop the ball back into play and he would have won the match. And I'm not sure how those points are going to haunt him in the third set. Tennis is a strange game. Sometimes these things stay in your head even though you don't want them to. And if you're tuning in, to Hub Tennis, that's where we're showing Davis Cup for this year, hosted by Singapore after 25 years. So just go to hub.tennis and you'll find your live streams and you'll find everything and anything that Singapore Tennis, brought to you by Sport Singapore.
Yeah, there's also, don't forget, there's the Singapore Tennis Festival as well going on. Maybe you can tell us a bit more about that, Darren. What's been going on?
I was part of that. I mean, the corporate challenge we played yesterday, 7 corporate teams came down. It was a lot of fun. We used the courts. I think one thing about the Singapore Tennis Festival is that it's been growing strength on strength. It's an initiative by Sport Singapore, by Active SG, and it's been amazing. I think we've seen kids go through the academy. I had the opportunity of playing with some of the kids, and these guys are really the future of Singapore tennis. I see a lot of potential. I mean, you look at the courts that we have nowadays, the covered courts at Bedok, the covered courts at Tampines. If we've got some really, really amazing facilities, and I think all of this bodes really well for Singapore. So the Singapore Tennis Festival is really everything tennis. It used to be a prelude to the WTA, but now that that's not here anymore, it's still growing strength on strength. And I think I've noticed a pickup in tennis in Singapore, which is great.
Any news? Anything you can tell us about future tournaments, perhaps?
Not at the moment. I can't say anything about that, but I can tell you that the tennis scene in Singapore is growing. I think the Tennis Association and Sport Singapore have put in a lot of effort to grow tennis as a grassroots sport. And like I mentioned, I think a lot of kids are starting to pick it up, and I see them genuinely having fun. And I think that's really important. I think these kids are growing up. They're playing tennis. They're coming down and enjoying the matches. You can tell from the crowd today, a lot of them, kids, parents, even grandparents, if you look into the stands, and they're really enjoying themselves. And today's match has been really good, it's really high quality. It's a great way to kick off the Davis Cup in Singapore.
Well, we did have 3 ITFs in June, I believe, late May, early June. We had the Southeast Asia Invitational as well. So there are tournaments in Singapore anyway, and we had a very first winner
That's
of an
right.
ITF as well just a few weeks ago.
That's right, and he's playing the next singles. Steve, I think he's really come through the ranks. I mean, I've known him since he was a little boy, and I've seen him grow strength to strength every year, getting fitter, getting stronger. And I think the same is to be said for all the local tennis players. I think they've really gotten it right this time, and you can tell just from this match alone. The amount of resilience that they're showing on court. I mean, take nothing away from Maqdes. He's playing a brilliant match, but you know, it's always a game of cat and mouse like we anticipated, and in this case, Shaheed's really pulled off a good performance to take the second set.
For those of you who've just joined us, a very warm welcome to the OCBC Arena Davis Cup. Here, the Oceania Asia Group 3 encounter between Singapore and Kuwait. It stands at a set apiece in rubber 1 between Abdullah Maqdes and Shaheed Alam. Maqdes won the first set 6-2. Alam taking the second one 7-6. Finally balanced in that second set. And Darren here with us, who feels that right now the momentum is with the Singaporean.
It is, I think. I mean, just from where we're sitting again, Maqdes is obviously struggling with a little bit of fitness, and you can tell when Shaheed attacks his backhand that he's struggling on his movement on that side. It could be because he runs around to his forehand a lot, but I think age plays a bit of a difference here as well. I mean, Maqdes is 33 and Shaheed is 21, and in my opinion, I feel that a third set is not going to do Maqdes any favors. This third set should be firmly in Shaheed's favor, and I think he's in the driving seat, and he knows it, and he's on a confidence high right now. So, Shazad, you're asking me about Singapore Tennis Festival, and you know, all of this is all part of a much bigger Get Active Singapore initiative that happens every year. And you know, this just came in from someone at 3 tennis centers: Kallang Tennis Center, Yio Chu Kang, and Habib at Bedok. There's going to be a tennis tournament happening as part of Get Active. It's part of the Singapore Tennis Festival. It's part of a lot of new initiatives that Sport Singapore has come up with. So check it out. Go to getactive.sg and all the details are there. Sign up for the tournaments, have fun. These courts are in really great conditions, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, do get yourselves involved. There's also Hub Tennis is the new microsite as well.
That's right.
We are just about to start the third set.
I noticed that Maqdes has changed his shirt. Brand new beginnings, that's what some of us say.
Yep, new shirt, new luck perhaps.
Good way to start the point by Maqdes. Again, that forehand causing a lot of damage. You know, Shazad, one of the things that could be a bit of a concern is, you know, after coming back from such a after digging himself out of the second set, sometimes you get this wave of confidence and you start to overhit.
Yeah.
and you start to make a lot of unforced errors. It happens quite a few times. So it's age versus experience now.
Well, we know that he has had a lot of experience, Maqdes. Just looking at his record, he's absolutely superb on clay, by the way, which is an interesting one. He's played 13 times on clay, won 12 of those matches.
That is impressive. I don't think that's the start that Shaheed would have wanted.
I think that has probably been the most comprehensive game we've seen so far in this entire match.
Yes. To break at love in the third set, I think that's a bit of a giveaway by Shaheed.
Especially when you and I were talking up his chances in this third set with the momentum we felt was going his way.
Maqdes is looking really focused right now. I think he knew he let it slip away from him in the second set. Again, I can't help but mention that he seems to be struggling on the backhand side a little bit. A bit slow on that wing. Let's see what he does to remedy that. That's a nice touch from Shaheed. Using his good hands to his advantage. You know, Shazad, I'm looking at Maqdes as he's serving and he doesn't look comfortable at all. His legs are not moving. Maybe I'm wrong, correct me. I mean, if you look at his service motion, he looks quite stiff on the legs.
Yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that one.
He looks really uncomfortable. I mean, we don't have any speed meters here, but you can tell his first serve speed has dropped quite a fair bit.
That was a good rally. The battle of the drop shots.
It's really smart play. I mean, Shazad, just from where we are, you can tell Maqdes is struggling to move. You can tell he's almost hobbling a little bit.
It's right next to us. It isn't comfortable, is it?
You can't see it on camera, but he really doesn't look comfortable at all.
Crowd shouting out their support.
And Shaheed's dad is somewhere in the crowd today.
Brilliant winner. Excellent from Shaheed Alam.
It's that backhand again. It's causing all the damage. In fact, it's caused damage the whole morning.
And a break point here. He's done it.
It's the same thing, Shazad. When the lob went in, I would have thought that Maqdes would have come in, but he's really struggling on his movement.
Yeah, it didn't
It looks like he's almost in pain right now.
go in for the kill, did he? And it's the second break that he's had in this match, Shaheed Alam. But remember, the last break he got, he lost it immediately
Yeah.
in the following game. So
And
he's-
I'm not taking anything away from Maqdes. I mean, if I was there, I would be in pain as well. So
oh, so
magical
nicely
shot.
done. So beautifully done.
Magical. I think Maqdes is going to be kicking himself for not doing enough with the smash in the first place.
Well, what you didn't see there is Maqdes he's tossing his towel away. He's angry with himself. Not happy. That's a great shot. Great backhand there from Maqdes. But again, should Alam have done better?
That's a hard one to call. I thought Maqdes could have done better though. He's become a bit passive now when he plays. I think it's really a sign of his fatigue on court.
Brilliant.
That's
Much
good
better
play.
from Maqdes.
I can tell you though, these long points are not doing him any favors at all. Every time he turns around, I mean, you guys don't see it, but we see it from where we are, and he's grimacing, he's in pain, and he's walking really, really heavy.
He's just taking a lot more time between points as well.
Yes, he is. And his body language is not as positive as before.
Alam needs to take advantage of that.
Looks like our predictions coming through.
And it is going to be a couple of break points here. Excellently done from Maqdes, and as happened in the previous set, Shaheed Alam has been broken back immediately. And again, it's just got to be frustrating, isn't it?
It is frustrating. I mean, he obviously worked very hard to break serve, but Maqdes played a pretty decent game. I mean, he's obviously playing through some pain and some maybe even an old injury. But the last forehand though, that was a reminder of what he did in the first set so well. On the run, hitting it wide and opening up the court. We didn't see much of that in the second set, and hopefully we'll see more of that in the third set, but it really depends on how well his body keeps up.
And by the way, for the scoring system, even if Singapore go on to lose this tie, every set counts, doesn't it?
That's right.
That's right. So that was very important for Shaheed Alam. Remember, he faced 4 match points rather, dug deep, won that set, and it could come back to serve them in good stead. I mean, I don't want to predict what's going to happen in this match, but it's important to remember that every set counts.
Absolutely. He's still looking fresh, isn't he?
I've got to say, it's very different when you contrast the two. Now can he continue here?
Oh, it's a
What
good
a way to
serve.
start. Yeah, I think that's just the second ace we've had.
That's the second ace. It's a good serve. Again, I can't help notice how he's taking pace off his serve, and his legs are really not bending as low as before.
Very, very good serves.
Or maybe I'm wrong.
I think he heard you as well, Darren.
Too close to him.
Brilliant. It's been a brilliant fourth game here.
It's like the first set all over again.
Much, much better for Abdullah Maqdes.
And you can see the difference is that he's shuffling his feet, making those little steps.
Well,
Oh, that's a great return.
what you can do, I can as well, says Shaheed Alam. And a couple points back.
He really doesn't like that backhand, Maqdes. You can see he's struggling. He's not even getting the place to hit that anymore. Oh, unlucky. Went for it.
And that was vital. Maqdes with the second break this set. 3-1 up now.
You know, it's going to be very easy for Shaheed to think that he shouldn't have gone for that, but I think that strategy is right because you're playing against an opponent who's obviously tiring, and you need to make sure he moves a lot more on court than you do.
Sorry, that was actually that was on serve. So
Oh,
pressure
unlucky.
here. Sorry, on Shaheed Alam.
Starting to become a lot more positive now, Maqdes.
Yeah, he's reeling off points at the moment, isn't he? And Shaheed Alam, who clung on at times in that second set, needs to find that kind of place again.
I think one difference this set is that Shaheed has hit a lot more unforced errors. I think back to what I mentioned, you know, sometimes when you come in and you dig deep and you get this wave of confidence, sometimes it goes into a bit of overconfidence, and he started off the set with a whole string of unforced errors. Take nothing away from both players or take nothing away from him. I mean, this is a very high quality match.
That was an excellent shot from Maqdes, right in the corner.
That was exactly what he was doing the first set all along. And then he puts Shaheed under pressure and forces the error.
It is all with Abdullah Maqdes now, and he's building himself a handsome lead. 4-1 it stands in this third set.
I think Shaheed's making a few more unforced errors this set. I mean, and you can tell his first serve percentage has dropped a fair bit. I mean, just that game alone, he served quite a few second serves, and I think that's telling. I mean, even he gets tired, right? So, and it's interesting to see how Maqdes is controlling himself and really playing the points that matter.
I guess that's the experience showing here, Darren, because
Absolutely.
he has found his comfort zone now. He's just looking a little bit more relaxed. A little bit of honey. And some bananas. This was a potential banana skin as well for Kuwait. But maybe now Maqdes has recovered a little bit from that little slip in the second set. Can he go on to finish this?
From my days of playing, I can't tell you how important this game is. If Shaheed breaks him, suddenly there's pressure again. So let's see what happens. Oh, that's a good way to start. It's very different Maqdes out there right now. Very confident. Starting to shuffle his feet again.
Yeah, it's odd how that sort of disappeared for a while and come back to the fore. And it's just not going right for Shaheed Alam at the moment.
3 unforced errors.
On the brink of making it 5-1, Abdullah Maqdes. That's better, but he needs a lot more of those, Alam. It's been too sporadic in this third set. The odd unforced error from Maqdes, but you just get the impression he is dictating proceedings at the moment.
Yes, he is, and he's gone back to how he played in the first set. You can tell he's starting to step in and put the pressure on Shaheed.
Does help having that 3-game cushion. That's more like it.
This could be another turning point, or a commentator's curse.
You did say he needed to win this game, Shaheed Alam. It's juice.
That's a good serve.
And important as well for Maqdes, as far as he's concerned.
I think Shaheed will be a bit disappointed he didn't get that.
Well, that looked a little tight, but it has gone the way of Maqdes.
I think the difference between this set and the previous set in Shaheed's performance is that he's getting a little bit apprehensive, and it's not as free flowing the way he strikes the ball. I mean, it's now 1-5. It's do or nothing. It's do or die,
isn't it?
So you just got to go for it.
Serving now to stay in this match.
That's a good shot.
Can he put a run of points like that?
That was the one that damaged Maqdes a lot in the second set. Did a lot of damage on the backhand side.
That's better. Some of those have not come off for him earlier. An important time for him to get that right. Very different type of build,
Very different.
these two. Wiry frame, of course, of Shaheed Alam. He's quite well built as well, isn't he, Maqdes?
And you can tell the different build results in a different kind of play, in a different kind of strategy that it brings to the court.
And that's much better. I think that's his most comprehensive game so far. But it's still with Maqdes now. He can serve out for the match.
So back to your point about the different builds. You can tell that Maqdes is stockier and he's bigger. He's able to put a lot more weight on the shot. Not that Shaheed doesn't particularly hit it hard, but because of how they use their weight, their body weight in translating that into energy of the shot. So Shaheed is a bit more of a counter puncher in this sense, and he's then able to use Maqdes's pace to his advantage when he gets into position. So it's a great matchup. I mean, from the beginning, we always knew it was going to be a game of cat and mouse, and how Maqdes will be dictating pace and Shaheed will be counter punching and will be exploiting those little gaps in fitness and those little holes. And I think it's lived up to its bill, right, Shazad? I mean the second set was a really good indicator of how close this match could really get.
Yeah, absolutely right. And it's such different builds, but they have been neck and neck for much of this match, except for this third set.
Just a little bit of fatigue setting into Shaheed as well. He was one step slow in hitting that.
He needed that, didn't he?
And I think in the back of his mind, Maqdes knows that he's not going to be able to play the long points anymore.
Well, that goes long. Unforced from Maqdes. Is there a little glimmer of hope here for Shaheed Alam?
That's that forehand again. Does a lot of damage when he steps in and takes it on a rise.
Excellent work from Maqdes, and that brings up his 5th match point. surely now he's got to be
He's
able to
gotta
convert
at
this.
least one.
Absolutely. But do not discount out Shaheed Alam and his ability to dig himself out. And finally, he does it. It's taken him a lot longer than he thought. He had to work really hard for it, Abdullah Maqdes, but he gets the result he wanted. Plenty of credit to Shaheed Alam as well.
Yeah, it was a really good match between the two players, and I think when the third set started, we were debating whether it's fitness and experience, and I think experience prevailed in the end. You could tell that that Maqdes was he held himself really well. I mean, he was obviously having fitness issues, but he played a much smarter game.
And is that experience for you?
Yeah, that's experience. I mean, I guess the older you get, and if you know you're struggling with issues, instead of getting down on yourself, you start to play within yourself. And I mean, he was doing all he could, really, and tons of credit to Maqdes, tons of credit to Shaheed, saving 4 match points in the second set. That was a brilliant performance.
Absolutely right. You just saw the look of disappointment, a look of missed opportunities there from Shaheed Alam. He knows he had the chances, couldn't take them. But let's not take anything away from this man as well, who stuck in there. And remember, he thought he was down and out, because at one point in that second set, we thought he couldn't last a third.
Exactly. So he's proved me wrong, because I thought that it wouldn't work in his favor, but it obviously did. So credit to Maqdes.
So that brings us to the end of the first rubber here in the opening tie for Singapore in the Davis Cup 2019 up against Kuwait. Kuwait take it, and we'll move on to the second rubber, which will start in approximately 20 minutes from now. Do stay with us here for more live coverage of the Davis Cup in Singapore.